Hey guys. So we are talking about use of AI in e-commerce. I'm the moderator. My name is Kamal Karmakar. I'm the CEO and founder of CitiXsys. I have a few really talented people here who will talk about how they used AI in their own businesses and how they perceive usage of AI in e-commerce. So I have Oliver Tan, CEO of and founder, right? CEO and founder of ViSenze. I have Aadi, Vaidya, Chief Operating Officer of Zilingo, and Vic, who is running a very interesting company that runs a lot of things about chatbot. We'll talk about that in more detail. Firstly, let's have a brief introduction, and then we will just deep dive on the topic. Oliver.
Thank you. Name is Oliver. I'm the, as Kamal mentioned, CEO of ViSenze. ViSenze is a artificial intelligence company that specializes in computer vision. So what it means is that for retailers, we help retailers solve a fundamental problem in search, not by searching using keywords, but by processing pixels and helping consumers find products better. That's fundamentally what we do. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Aadi, Chief Operating Officer at Zilingo. Zilingo started, interestingly, as a B2C e-commerce marketplace, but we have expanded into now working pretty much across the fashion supply chain. So from the yarn guy to up till finally the consumer. So we act as a platform to enable and digitize all the stakeholders in the fashion supply chain.
Hi everyone, I'm Vic. I'm a co-founder for Hyperlab, and I'm also the Chief Growth Officer. Hyperlab is a company that creates virtual assistants for brands to automate interaction with either customers or internal employees. So we create kind of Siri or Jarvis type things for brands to basically interact with people.
Thank you so much. Brief introduction about me. My name is Kamal. I run a company called CitiXsys. We are into retail space. We develop a product called iVen Retail. It's an omni-channel platform for retailers. Retailers around 90 countries today are running our software. It's a channel model. We have channel partners in around 56 countries and our own centers in 22 odd countries. Saying so, we've been in business for a long time, but for Southeast Asia, this is a very interesting market for us. We are like a startup in this region. This year, we started with 5 regional offices. One is in Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. So these are the regional offices, and we consider Southeast Asia as the growth market where we feel retailers, whether they are online or offline, will be able to use our platform. Now, with the introduction out of the way, let's take a deep dive on the issues or on the potential of use of AI in e-commerce. To start with, Aadi, maybe I can start with you, looking at the use cases of AI. And when I say use cases, where all AI can be used within e-commerce, where you feel, is it only about narrowing or improving search engine so that the shoppers get the kind of information they're looking for? Or is there something more than that?
Yeah, thanks, Kamal. I think interesting question. I think talking about AI in the realm of image recognition and contextualizing search is just tip of the iceberg. I think it's unfortunate that a lot of times AI is just sort of being defined by image recognition, etc. But I think there are multiple more use cases. If I were to just sort of pick up an example from within the realm of image recognition itself as well, one of the things that we do with image recognition itself with the use of AI, in fact, we work with Oliver's company to do some of these things as well, is trend forecasting. So, you know, when you can recognize images the right way and you know what is happening, let's say we are a fashion company, and in the world of fashion, identity is extremely important. It is not an iPhone that you're buying, or it's not a commodity that you're buying. So it is extremely important to understand that what is probably happening in the Milan fashion show is impacting something that a merchant is selling in Thailand. AI helps us enable that simply by the use of simple facet management or image recognition tools, which can sort of scrape through this data in the most automatic and fast fashion and give out readable results and results which are output oriented. So that is one form of things where image recognition itself can be used beyond search. Other things beyond this, as I mentioned in my introduction as well, Zilingo is now working a lot with factories, working a lot with the entire B2B supply chain. I think there is a lot of scope there in terms of product lifecycle management, in terms of inventory management, in terms of decision making on the whole, right? Because these are businesses, these are conventional businesses who don't really understand what are the trends going to be, who don't really understand when, for example, a manufacturer should buy cotton, right? Because yarn prices move up and down. They don't know what are the right sort of fabrics to buy. If that sort of decision making can be automated with the use of AI, where both past sales / trends are being merged into creating a tool which helps remove inefficiencies, I think those would probably be the more exciting use cases in, I guess, the years to come.
Oh, that's very well said. And when you talk about the usage of AI, not only in the front end to the shoppers, but also to the back end at product lifecycle management, you have the factories at the back that is essentially producing the goods that will come to your store, whether online or offline. That opens a very important aspect. So for any retailer today, omni-channel is very important. Whether online or offline, you would like to touch your customer in various different ways. So it's not only about listing your product online, it's not about keeping a product on the shelf. There's a lot of work that goes behind. You have massive engines like merchandise management, assortment planning, product lifecycle management, as Aadi mentioned. And these are the solutions which need to be looked at, and these are established solutions today in the market, and usage of AI seems to be extremely prevalent, as Aadi said. So looking at that, Oliver, as a use case in omnichannel retail, how does a retailer use these massive technologies in their ecosystem, in their industry, and use AI to ensure that decision making is better?
Very good question. So AI is basically transforming a lot of processes, whether it's front end or the back end. And if you look at the consumer side, there are as many people who shop online as they do shop offline. And if you think about a customer journey, where does it start? Does it start online and ends up with offline behavior, or does it start offline and go to online? There are multiple interactions today. For me, fundamentally, there is no divide between offline and online shopping. It is a continuous journey. So if you look at it from that perspective, how does a retailer use AI to be smarter in recommending, in personalizing, and in engaging the customer in every facet of the customer journey itself? For instance, in the image recognition or visual search, it's been used on the online side. So if you downloaded the app from Zalora, the image search is powered by my company called ViSenze. Zalora also, ASOS also uses us on the back-end side. The merchandisers basically use our image recognition to understand how much patterns of materials do they actually have on the inventory before they actually go out to make a purchase. All right, that's actually done very, very quickly. So the application of using these AI solutions, it's married up with what they're trying to do to make the processes more efficient, whether on the back-end side or make it more efficient in the way that they engage their consumers. So I always like to encourage retailers to look at it, from an end-to-end way and marry up all of these wonderful technologies rather than using it piecemeal, integrating it, and therefore feel the maximum impact of what it actually brings to them in terms of the ROI.
No, absolutely, and I travel all over the world and meet with various retail CEOs running large chains, and one of the major issues and major question that I see is click and collect. Which has been very relevant in UK and the European market. The US market is adopting it. And it's just time that Southeast Asian market is going to adopt technologies like click and collect. But there's something very interesting you talked there about touching your customer. That's where consumer experience essentially comes. So at the end of the day, any technology need to be used not only for your own profitability, but also touching your customer, enhancing your consumer experience. And that's where, Vic, your company comes in and your experience comes. Where do you think AI can be used in e-commerce? How do you ensure that consumer experience is enhanced?
I think that's, I mean, if you look at any sort of business today, or just look at the way that we behave as customers, I think, you know, the fact that we used to basically be drawn to brands just because they're brands, right now I think people are more drawn to experiences and service that has been delivered to them, which kind of makes customer experience really, really important for a company to focus on, right? And when you look at a customer and they're going online and they're kind of doing something and purchasing something online, it's quite an impersonal experience because they're just with themselves. They're with a browser. They're just browsing a site like a catalog. I think the magic is about trying to create that experience that still gives you that one-to-one experience that if you were to walk into a luxury brand today and they're doing their job right, you're going to have a great experience at the store. So how do you make that come to life in a virtual environment? So I think, you know, having virtual assistants, I think, and also with the combination of technology like computer vision, for example, makes it a very rich experience. Even though you may be doing it on a small device such as your phone, for example, being able to get advice while you're buying something and to be able to know that what you're going to buy is going to last, you know, whatever the use that you have for it. So I think that kind of interaction beyond just being able to search and click and those kind of things, having that very human kind of interaction with a very digital channel, I think that's where we're going to really see a lot of exciting things that will happen in this space.
No, that's well said. And we talk about changing consumer behavior, and when we talk about usage of AI in ensuring that you're driving your customer to buy a specific thing, that means the product is there at store or online, and the right product is there that the customer really wants. But when you talk about such use cases, are you talking about, are there algorithms running behind? Are you looking at different consumers, their buying pattern, and based on that you are recommending?
Yeah, so I think, you know, where when you talk about AI, is really, I mean, machine learning, right? I mean, that thing doesn't really kind of know what's happening. It's kind of a lot of data that's kind of predicting future events. So I think when you talk about weaving all of these things like prediction and understanding what the user wants, it's about using all these tools that are available and being able to then predict something of an outcome that you would like. So that's where the recommendation engines come in. The Amazons, you know, people that bought this also bought this and enjoyed this, whatever it may be, right? So I think, you know, using that is definitely amazing. But I mean, also, like I was just telling you guys earlier in terms of the experience with that Zozo, you know, suit. In Japan, this online retailer shipped out these suits that you would wear. It's a skin-tight suit, so no matter what shape you are, you just get one suit. It has dots on it. An app basically captures a 3D render of yourself as you do a bit of a spin in front of your camera, and it then determines the sizing. I think that's a great experience if you want a custom, tailored, even T-shirt. I think it goes down up to a T-shirt or a pair of jeans, right? Unfortunately, it didn't work. So I think maybe the technology is really not there yet because there is still the user that's wearing the suit, and they could be wearing it wrong. I don't know, but there was obviously issues. But I think that's a great idea and a great experience. And if you can use that to then tie back to what you said earlier in terms of this is what's trending right now, you almost take that decision-making out of the human who may not be fashionable, and you allow them to then be quite trendy, right? So I think
I understand. You see, the AI and machine learning is not properly understood, you know, by many. My earliest encounter with AI was in 1984. I was a kid, and there was a movie called Terminator, and I see Arnold just burning and becoming a robot and coming out and trying to kill everyone else. So we are not talking about those kind of AI here, but do you think the technology, the way it is evolving, the way Amazon or the Amazon Go is happening in US, so do you see all those technologies are going to come to Southeast Asia over time? What's your experience with the consumer behavior in this region?
I think interesting that you raised the example of Amazon. I think Amazon is probably the most powerful example of a platform where AI is being used to the fullest, pretty much across the globe. Today, if I'm sitting in my house and I tell Alexa, in the US, of course, I tell Alexa that, hey, I'm running out of batteries. The first thing that it's going to do is place an automated order or an order directly on Amazon for Amazon basic batteries. So AI here has enabled basically through voice recognition the Amazon private label batteries to sell and make the entire platform work seamlessly, right? I think in context of your question, if we are talking about a reality that far ahead, I think there is still some time for that to happen in Asia. I think there's definitely appetite, but maybe sometime will be consumed in empowering or sort of enabling the supply chain to be able to do that front-end experience. So the stuff that I spoke about earlier regarding AI helping with supply chain piece first, I think is going to come in here first, and then we move on to the front-end use cases.
Okay. No, thank you so much for that. In fact, in this particular topic, in AI and machine learning, there are various different innovations. Like we hear from ViSenze, from Oliver Tan. I saw his solution. It's just amazing. What you can do with a picture, right? You can change a consumer behavior and buying pattern. There are various such innovations coming together, and there will be a time very soon when retailers, online or offline, they will start adopting all these in their platform to become more profitable and ensure that they increase the share of wallet from their customers. Saying so, our time is kind of up. We can sit here and talk a lot. However, we all are outside today and tomorrow, so please feel free to come to any one of us. We will be pleased to meet with you and tell you more. Thank you so much.
Thank you.